What's going on? It's me, Haley Jones, and I am here today with Chynna, and she's going to tell us how to elevate our parties because she is the party elevator, the mastermind behind the party elevators. That's really the name of the business. So before we talk business and exactly how to elevate your party, let's do some rapid fire and get to know Chynna a little bit better. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So, how long have you been in East Tennessee?
8 years.
And you're originally from?
Brooklyn, New York.
And then where else have you lived?
I lived in Brooklyn for the majority of my life. When I was in 7th grade, I moved to Orlando, Florida.
Okay.
Went to high school there.
Okay.
Went to college in Tampa, Florida. Moved to Jacksonville for 2 years after college, and then moved to East Tennessee.
That's awesome. So, do you like it here?
Yeah.
You can say no. It's fine. You can be like, oh, it's horrible.
No, it's definitely not horrible. It was a big adjustment when we first moved here.
Yeah.
Moving away from family and friends and like big city life.
Right.
To Knoxville. So it definitely took a little while, but now I really like being here in Knoxville.
That's awesome. Reading books or watching TV?
Watching TV.
What are you watching right now?
Oh gosh. Not really watching a specific show in particular. Kind of waiting for like shows to restart their new seasons.
For example.
Sweet Magnolias.
Okay.
Waiting for season 3. Ginny and Georgia. Season 3.
I don't know any of these.
Yeah.
That's cool. I was maybe stalking your socials, and I saw that you love sour candy.
Yes.
So what are your top 2 sour candies?
Okay, sour straws definitely trump Sour Patch Kids, but it has to be like the red or the blue sour straws.
You
So,
are real for real.
That would be
real.
like top 1 and top 2. Like it's got to be a sour straw. Like I don't want the sour belts. I don't want the rope. Like
Is this
straight
like where do you
sour
get
straw.
that at, or this is a normal candy? Because
It's a normal candy, but
Okay.
it's actually even harder to find. And my husband like always hates that he has to find this candy because it's like a wild goose chase. But Michael's carries it. Five Below carries it. Walmart sometimes.
Oh my
It's
gosh,
just- you never
that's
really
funny.
know where you're gonna find it.
Okay. Chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
Really? She's the 3rd person to ever say this. Football or basketball? Or neither?
I'm kind of neither, but if I had to pick one to watch, I guess it would be football.
Okay, got it. Mountains or beach?
I like to look at the beach,
Yes.
but I don't want to be on the beach.
That makes sense,
Like,
because the
give me a
sand,
pool.
basically.
Yes, give me like a swim up pool with a beach view. Sold.
Oh, I like that. I like your style. Peyton Manning or Dolly Parton?
Dolly Parton.
Yes.
I love her pink rhinestone one.
Yes. Balloons or bounce houses?
Bounce houses with balloons.
Spoken like a true party elevator. So let's dive into business. So as I said, Chynna is the mastermind of the party elevator. So tell us a little bit about like what is the party elevator?
The Party Elevators is a one-stop party shop. My goal with the Party Elevators would really be like an all-inclusive service for people planning events. What I do is mainly birthday parties and life events, so graduations, baby showers, bridal showers, that sort of thing. But our goal is to just elevate your event and help you take it to the next level, making your life a lot easier so you're not DIYing and giving you a professional look that really makes your guests walk away and be like, wow, that was a party.
Yes, she did what do you call it? What was it that you did for me? A balloon?
A balloon garland.
And garland would imply like it goes on the fireplace. No, this was like a entryway for an event I did at Topgolf, and it was amazing. So anyways, like that being said, when she says like elevate, it's definitely elevating. But did you start with balloons, or like how did this all come about?
So I've really always loved planning parties. When I was 16, my parents told me you can either have a sweet 16 party or you can get a car. Like that was literally what they told me.
Yeah.
And being from New York, sweet 16s were huge. Like it was, everyone had a sweet 16, but for my 16th birthday, we were actually living in Florida.
Okay.
So it wasn't really a big thing, but
Right.
my super sweet 16 was a thing, still like the show on MTV.
I forgot about that.
Yes, I was obsessed with that show.
That is so
if
funny.
I could have applied to be on that show, I would have applied.
I'm in.
Right? You're like, check, but my Sweet 16 would have been way better now than it was back then. But clearly, I chose a Sweet 16 party over a car. And that's kind of where my like love for planning events started. My parents were like, you want the party, you've got to plan it. Like, we'll pay for it, but you are fully in charge. So at 16, I was calling venues, I was talking to caterers, like getting all that situated. So that's kind of where my excitement for planning parties started. And then it just kind of grown, especially since having both of my girls. Planning their birthdays has always been like a really big thing. So.
How did you come up with the name?
So my friend and I actually were sitting down talking about starting a party business, and we were like, well, what would be a fun name? And we kind of were just thinking like, oh, what do we want to do with parties? Elevate. We want to bring it to the next level. And then an elevator, like an actual physical elevator, popped into my friend's head, and she was like, oh my God, what if like we were in an elevator and then you like walk into the elevator and you're kind of like a hot mess express, like in party life, and then you come out of the doors and it's just like, oh my God, bam, like here you are elevated to the next level, like amazingness. So then we were just like, the party elevators. And so it actually started out as a joke, and the more we talked about it, we were like, okay, this is how we're gonna literally like reveal the business. Like, we are gonna go into an elevator looking like Hot Mess Express with like all of our party stuff flying everywhere, and come out looking like so put together, and that's how we want people to feel like when they walk into like their events.
That is so cool. Because I just assumed, okay, when I first started like seeing your stuff on social, I was like, oh, because it's balloons, but it's not just balloons.
Right.
Like, I was looking at she has a whole catalog of stuff on her website, so go check that out. We'll include the link. It's balloons, it's bounce houses. I mean, it's like everything. So, like, yeah, what are all the things that party elevators can do?
So, like you mentioned, we have bounce houses, and they're not your typical colorful bounce houses. We do modern bounce houses because at Party Elevators, we're all about like the aesthetically pleasing events. We want it to be modern, and we want it to be put together like to your theme, like very cohesive. So modern bounce houses, we offer mini bounce houses as well as full-size bounce houses. So for those little kids like 1 to 6, sometimes a big bounce house can be really intimidating and overwhelming. And a lot of places don't have the space to accommodate those, especially here in East Tennessee with all of the non-leveled land that we have around here.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, my backyard included. So that's where the minis started. We offer minis, we offer full-size bounce houses. We now offer modern mini bumper cars, which are a huge hit. Like, I cannot keep my kids off of them.
Really?
Like, I have them stored in my house, and if they are in eyesight, my girls are on them and do not get off. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, no, this is not for you. This is for the people. We do balloon garlands, backdrops, and then custom decor based on what people need. So really my goal is to like not repeat a party ever. Like, I want every party to be custom tailored to what my clients want. And that's like the big goal. So it's very rare that like we reuse things for the same purpose. If that makes sense.
That makes sense. So if someone is doing a party with you, like, where do you typically come in the process? Do you come in at the very beginning? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's the ideal situation for the party elevators to come in?
So I think because we offer like a wide range of like services and rental items, really there's not like you have to be all in like the second you want to plan the party. So we really have something for everyone, I think, and that's our goal, is to kind of be able to offer people like a wide range of services so that it can fit what they are looking for. So really, whether or not like you've already found your venue or you are looking for a venue, it's never too late to like reach out to us. There's always some point we can jump in and help you out.
Because if you're a last minute person like me, I was like, hey girl, can you help me with some balloons?
I got you.
Yeah, she did. Like,
last minute,
amazing.
6 months in advance, a year in advance. Just as soon as you know that something's coming up, or if you forget, or because life gets you, let's be real. Not everyone plans their party 6 months to a year in advance. Just crazy people like myself. But there's never too late to jump in.
Well, I'm not a party planner. The idea of it stresses me out. Like, it makes me, because I want it to be like a certain way. But then it's like my house, trying to decorate my own house. I'm like, I try and it looks like a kindergartner did it. You know what I'm saying?
Stop.
So like, so that being said, when it comes to parties, this idea of like making it aesthetically pleasing, probably like a week before my event or whatever, maybe it was 2 weeks, I don't know. I was like, hey, can you help me? So definitely, like, I second that. To you have something for, I feel like, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your kind of favorite party to do?
I would say, like, my favorite party to do is a party where I get to, like, do all the details.
Okay.
Like, it's great to do a balloon garland and a backdrop, but ones that, like, get me really excited are where I'm, like, doing all the little details.
Yes.
Like, I love being able to, like, create that cohesive party for you and really seeing it from your table to the kids' table to the bounce house to the balloons to the welcome sign at the door.
Yeah.
Like, when you see every little piece of that party,
Right.
And really have that, like,
Wow factor. So how do you, so if you were going to do like a wow factor, your favorite kind of party to do, like, do you need 6 months? Like, what, you know what I'm saying? Like, what would you need?
So I would say ideally probably around like 4 to 6 months.
Yeah.
So sometimes, like, depending on our schedule and like what we're booked up with, like sometimes we can accommodate less than that for like an all-out party. But really, to like avoid like the rush and the hustle and bustle of it all, I feel like 4 to 6 months is like a good range to like really narrow everything down and not feel like the time crunch of like deliveries maybe being late with the post office and little things like that.
Right. So with budgeting, do people typically say like, this is my budget, this is what can you do, or is it kind of like what comes first, I guess, typically?
I feel like typically a lot of people say, hey, this is my budget, and then like this is what I want. As like the party elevators, we like look at that budget and we're like, okay, like this is what we can do realistically within that budget. And then if they're like, well, I wanted X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, we're like, okay, well then this is what the budget would have to like look like in order to get all of those things.
Yeah.
So, budget's always a hard question. You know, no one wants a budget.
Yeah, no,
it's
for
always
real.
nice when you're like, what's a budget? Like, I love that question. Like, I don't know either. Let's just have fun.
Yeah, I know, that's true. Okay, let me ask you kind of a silly question. How do you transport those balloons? Because she had this huge balloon garland, and I'm still thinking about this. How do you transport that?
Depending on how many balloons I have, I push a lot of them into my SUV.
Okay.
Like, I can fit about 14 feet of balloons in my SUV, and I just have like a Honda CRV, so I don't have anything crazy. The nice thing when you're working with quality balloons is that you can push and shove them and they're not gonna pop.
Really?
Like, if they are properly inflated and they are high quality, which is the only quality we use for balloons, they can go through the ringer.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so when you say high quality balloons, what does that mean?
It means that you're not, I don't want to like dog Amazon because I love Amazon.
No, I get it.
But
I get it.
Amazon balloons, they're going to have lots of powdering in them. You're going to be able to smell the chemicals. The latex is not thick if you've ever like worked with those type of balloons. And a lot of like low quality balloons just have a very like see-through color. They're very translucent.
Yeah.
So like high quality, you're getting top-notch latex. It's thick. It doesn't need to be double stuffed. Most of the brands are biodegradable.
So did you know that like when you started this business, or
no? I actually knew nothing about balloons when I started this business, and kind of learned through trial and error, talking to other like balloon artists on Instagram and networking, and kind of picking people's brains and trial and error.
Yeah.
Like that. Trial and error. My first balloon garland that I did for myself was with Amazon balloons, and after that I was like, never again. My eyes were burning. Like the powder from the balloons, that just like the chemicals that they use. Like if you touch your face, like, or your eyes, like my eyes were literally like burning. I had to go wash my hands and my eyes. It was not good.
It's horrible. Okay, I noticed on your social, Chynna is the best at like collaborating with other people, shouting out other people. So when it comes to involving other vendors, do usually like clients figure that out, or like do you just have a connection, say like, hey, this is who we should use, or whatever? Like, how does that collaboration work? Because in my mind, I'm like, I just need you to do it.
Yeah, and which is like totally an option. I mean, some people when they reach out to me, they have like vendors that they've already booked, and which is fun because then I get to collaborate and meet new vendors and make those new connections and see like their kind of work. Then also there are people that come and reach out to me and are like, hey, like I need a vendor for cookies, I need a vendor for lights, I need a vendor for this. And because I've like networked and made those connections with other vendors and like know their quality of work, I'm able to like give recommendations or then be like, hey, listen, this is what I have for this budgeted. I want you to book it for me, and I'm able to like offer that to them as well.
Okay. So where do you find most of your clients? Is it majority like children's birthday parties? Is it a mix of like life events and children's?
Children's birthday parties have definitely been like our top booking over the last year and a half, and I really enjoy those because they're just fun. You know, they're like lighthearted and fun, and there's so much like creativity that can go into them. But we do have a good mix of like business events that we do and life events, so we definitely have those mixed in too.
Yeah. So business events, you usually do those at like actual business locations or a different, you know?
Yeah, so businesses reach out for like grand openings, wanting like balloon garlands for their grand openings, fundraising events, and stuff like that. And then we've also done some corporate events for like Bush Beans. We've done their health fair here in Knoxville, and then we've also done it out in Dandridge.
Okay, that's cool. That's awesome. Of everything that you have available, what do you wish people would do more in their parties?
Personally, I love a good kids table. Like, I am obsessed with setting up
Spoken like a true former first grade kindergarten teacher.
Yes. The kids table, I just think like so many fun details can go into it, from the place settings to the centerpieces to like personalized coloring pages and activities. There's just really so much you can put into it. So I would love people to be like, hey, give me the full shebang for my kids table. Like, I want these kids to feel super special from the moment they walk in to the moment they leave. Go for it.
I love that. I love that you say that because like the event that you did for me, we had a kids table and the person responsible for the coloring sheets was late by an hour and a half.
You should have told the party organizers.
Well, and I'm like, that's what I'm saying. I didn't even know it was like a thing. Well, yeah, so that's a good thing. I mean,
we would have been 45 minutes to an hour early. Just with those coloring sheets.
Just so you know. Well, it was my mom. I mean, I love you, Mom, but I'm just saying.
Okay, well, I take that back. Sorry, Mom.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So I just love that because that's an easy thing. It's not like it's hard to do a kid's table or whatever. Is there anything that like people order that you're like, ugh, I wish they wouldn't have done that, or like that doesn't make sense for a certain party? Or
it's not that I wish people wouldn't have ordered it or like booked it.
Yeah.
It's just that I wish that I didn't have to carry it in and out.
Right, yes.
It's the loading and unloading part that's not the glorious part of this job. So whenever my husband's around and he's home, I try to like pawn off the unloading and loading of the like van or my car. Right. Because that is not my favorite part.
Yeah, no, that's a lot. So you store everything at your house? Do you have like okay.
No, everything right now is stored at our house. My husband has a front room, which was a bar, and it's now the balloon bar. So I've taken over his manly bar room and made it the party bar.
That's
balloon bar. So most things are in there. A lot of like the bounce houses have to be at temperature like room controlled.
Okay.
So those are all inside of my house. Woodworking stuff we like keep in our garage. So his car also got kicked out of the garage. So you can see he makes lots of sacrifices.
Okay, like how many parties do you do a year, or like is that even a thing?
It's definitely a thing. I can't give you a number off the top of my head. It was a good amount. I mean, we just hit 1 year in September. Yeah. So we did a lot of parties. I want to say for the first year, maybe around 100 somewhere.
Wow, that's a lot.
I'd have to like go back because I know I posted a graphic for my 1 year anniversary that was like, we did this many parties and we did this many. Yeah, we did a good amount for our first year.
I think that's awesome.
Like starting a business, you never know like how the community is going to take it, or like how it's going to go, or really what's going to happen with it.
Right.
So I was very excited about what happened in year one. And
yeah, that's awesome. So biggest lesson learned in year one?
Biggest lesson learned is to go for it.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think like a lot of times we hesitate and we get nervous and think like, what if I fail? What if this doesn't work? What if someone doesn't like it? What if no one follows me? What if no one likes my post? just go for it. Like, if you're excited about it and you like it and you want to do it, do it. And the worst thing that can happen is it doesn't work out. And then you just revamp and go for something else.
Yeah, love that. Random and very silly question. Have you, like, had a balloon catastrophe? Can you tell us more? Because your balloons, did they fly away? This is a dumb question, but I'm just imagining you unloading those freaking balloons. And then you have 14 feet of balloons in your hands, and then...
Well, wind is not a balloon artist's best friend, no matter where you are. But I do, when I like have big amounts of balloons, I put them in actually like clear mattress bags.
Yeah.
It's the easiest way to transport them because you just shove them all in there and they're like pretty secure.
Yeah.
But you also don't want to let go of the bag because then it could go away. Wind is definitely one that you
like
don't.
a problem.
Yeah. It's not a problem. Like, it's workable.
Yeah.
But you're gonna like be doing double the triple the work, like the whole entire setup. So I always make sure my balloon bag is like fully stocked with anything I could possibly need, like in any situation, because you never know what's gonna work and what's not gonna work, like with weather, with wind, with heat. Like, I've been outside when it was like super hot and humid, and the balloons, even though they're like amazing quality, it was so humid that they were sticking to each other. So anytime that like I would try to like move a balloon, something would pop. So I was like, oh my god, here I am like doing balloons while I'm there, but the humidity was just so insane that they were like just melting together.
Oh my gosh.
So you just have to be prepared for everything.
Yeah. No, for sure. I would have never thought about that either. Like, I'm not that great with balloons. And actually, I've had balloons at open houses before. I think 4 are like not manageable. So.
4 is like a
I'm like, oh god.
Yeah, I don't really do too much with helium. Just the helium prices, and there's a helium shortage.
What?
So, yes, there's a helium shortage. So the cost of helium has just like risen significantly. It's very expensive.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You don't hear that on the news about, you know, or maybe you do, I don't know, whatever. Is there anything about the party elevators that I haven't asked you that you like people have to know?
I think that like when you book with the party elevators, you're getting an experience. You're getting from like start to finish whatever you need help with, like not having to communicate with 12 million different vendors, having someone that has like a very precise like vision and is able to like execute it.
Well, I want to ask you about like having a business. But I also, so we're both former teachers. Yeah. So I kind of just want to ask you about that for a second. So you were a kindergarten, first grade teacher.
Yeah.
And how long were you a teacher for?
I taught for 10 years.
See, yeah, same. Similar. Very similar. What do you miss about teaching, if anything? And then what's the difference between teaching and then being an entrepreneur?
So something I miss about teaching is I miss like doing super creative like lessons with my kids. I was the teacher that loved room transformations and liked having a theme. When I was in the classroom, one of my favorite things to do was Pirate Week. We did an entire week like based around pirates. Math included like gold coins, using gold coins and treasure hunts. Reading, we did pirate stories, and we did also would walk around the school building and find like treasure maps, and we'd write our sight words on them and like find a big treasure chest at the end. Everything that we did that entire week like revolved around pirates and like super cohesive. Like the kids dressed up on the final day, like I would talk like a pirate. We learned like pirate like vocabulary.
We need to stop this interview now and start over so you can talk like a pirate.
Yes. So I miss like that, being able to do that. But I think like by starting this business, I'm doing that just in a different way.
Yeah.
Like it's a one-day event, but I'm still able to put all that like creativity and those like fun and exciting like pieces into it, and still getting to see like the excitement that it brings kids. Like when they walk into their birthday party and they're like, oh my god, that's so cool. Like, look, there's my name on the bounce house. Oh my god, look at the balloons. Oh my god, look at this, look at that.
That's awesome.
Like that same excitement is like what I would see in my kids in the classroom, and like that's what I thrive on.
So it sounds like from like a, you know, thinking about like from a teacher perspective, it's almost like you have this like plan and vision for the party based on the experience people are going to have.
Right.
Which I think is awesome. When you left teaching, like, did you think of other businesses, or was this kind of like, this was it?
So before I taught teaching when I was in college, I was actually a pre-nursing major because I wanted to work with kids. I thought I wanted to go into pediatric nursing, but I quickly found out in college what I already knew, but it confirmed that I could not go into nursing, was that I cannot deal with blood. I can't.
Minor detail.
Yes, minor details. I guess that's pretty important. But I had a friend get injured and I saw him bleed, and that night I was like, I can't do it. Like, I'm changing my major.
I'm out.
I'm out. Like, gotta go. So I wanted to teach, and I knew I wanted to teach like early primary grades. K through 2 was like where I wanted to go. And then after I had my oldest, you know, I was kind of just like struggling with being in the classroom and just like the amount of responsibility and that was constantly changing and all of that goes with the life of a teacher. And I was like, okay, well, you know, let's see how teaching goes. And I gave it another 2 years, had my second. And after that, I was like, you know, I always said I wanted to do, if I wasn't going to teach, what would I do? My husband's like, you loved planning our wedding. Like, I had an entire binder for my wedding before my husband even proposed to me. Like, he saw this binder, and I'm talking like dresses, I'm talking venue, like centerpieces, everything. Like, I had this like 20-page binder. Like, say yes to the dress, why didn't you call me? Like, I literally applied.
I was born for this.
Like, I had the binder ready. So I was like, well, if I didn't teach, what would I do? I would do something at events. So when I had my second, I was like, you know what? I'm on leave. I have a year leave before I have to go back to the classroom. I'm gonna do it. So I was like, I'm gonna just jump in, I'm gonna try it, see what happens like this year. You know, I kind of had a little bit of a security blanket knowing I could go back to the classroom if I wanted to at the end of it, and haven't looked back yet. So
good for you. That's awesome. I have always like mixed emotions about it because I miss the creativity piece of it. And I miss like the human interaction or whatever. But so anyways, let's talk briefly about like Knoxville, the Knoxville area. What are some of your favorite restaurants in Knoxville?
Well, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but I love Penny for Your Thoughts. That's one of my favorite restaurants. They have amazing garlic parmesan fries, which I had to grab before this interview.
Legit.
Point B is delicious.
Love Point B. Have you had their fry board?
I have not had their fry board. Because whenever I've gone, it's only been me and my husband, and I'm like, okay, that's too much for us to handle, even though I know they have small boards.
That's the difference between you and I.
So, give me the fries.
Give me the fry board, please, for my husband and I.
Yes. Point B is really good. And Chesapeake's. Like, I love seafood, so like their fried calamari is amazing. So those would probably be my top 3.
Okay. What are your like top suggestions for places for people to take their kiddos?
I feel like depends on the age of your kids.
Yeah.
You know, like there's just like such a wide like range, and some things are like more specific to the younger ones because I have younger girls. My girls are 4 and 1.5. We tend to go like to the lower age activities. Like we love going to the zoo, we love going to the Muse, and those are probably 2 of our like favorite places to go.
The Muse I think is awesome.
There's so many like hands-on interactive things for them, and you don't have to like worry about anything crazy happening. It's like a safe zone. But I feel so bad for the workers because they feel like me as a mom, and like they're just picking up.
I think they love it though.
I'm like, sorry, this is what I do all day long.
No, they love it. They love it. And they have a lot of just like cool partnerships with schools and homeschool stuff. So, and then also when it comes to like the Knoxville area, what do you, when it comes to like stuff you do other than eating out, it's like you and your husband, like do you do anything else, or is it really just like we've got the kids?
Yeah, I mean, once you have little ones, it's hard to get out.
Yeah, well, they're little.
Yeah, they're little. They like to get out. My little oldest does competitive cheerleading, so that takes up a lot of our time. And my husband works with Tennessee Athletics, so that takes up all his time. So we don't really have a lot of fun time. Right. When we do have fun time, we kind of go out of town and we visit family in Florida. Yeah. So
Tampa versus Knoxville. I feel like there's not really a comparison, right?
I feel like it's kind of 2 separate worlds.
Yes.
Tampa, you have like heat year round. So I'll say in weather, I prefer Knoxville weather to Tampa
really?
weather.
I guess it's less humid? Or
less humid for sure. Like now when we go back to Tampa, I literally step outside and I'm like, I'm dying. Like how did I live here? Like I don't know how I spent like 10 years of my life here. Like, it is so hot. I love having seasons. That is, like, my top favorite thing about being in Knoxville is, like, having seasons and being able to, like, have cool weather and cold weather. And, you know, like, it's just nice to have that change. But Tampa, I feel like there's just so much to do. Like, there's just a lot of places to go, a lot of restaurants, a lot of, like, kids activities, and just, like, a lot more, because it's a bigger city.
Right,
so
totally.
A lot more people. Closer to the amusement parks, we used to always go to Busch Gardens and see all those types of things.
Yeah. We've got Dollywood.
We do have Dollywood. The one thing about Dollywood is there's so many hills. I'm not a hill girl. Like, again, like, I mean, I complain about carrying all this stuff into the parties. That's my least favorite part of the parties, is carrying everything.
Is your yard at your house flat?
No. So we have, like, a little bit of flat, and then we've got, like, this really obnoxious uphill, which is just, like, if I had to ever buy a house again, I would never do that again. No. But the hills, coming from, like, New York and Tampa, like, Orlando, we don't have hills. So, like, when you're walking around Dollywood, like, that's a workout. Like, you're not just, like, standing in line in the heat, like, enjoying your time. Hilarious. Like, you're physically working out.
I never thought about, because, okay, so I'm from here, and then I lived in Atlanta, lived in Memphis, lived internationally, whatever. Okay, so I came back here. I had never planned to live here as an adult, whatever. But I never thought about, like, the hills until I had some clients come in, and they were like, why is it so hilly here? And I was like, well, because we're, like, in mountains. But, I mean, I just never thought about it. And the more, like, I've worked with people buying houses, the more I'm like, this is, like, a thing. Whereas for me, I'm just like, well, I mean, my mom's house sits, like, the house I grew up on sits on the hill like this. So I was kind of, I guess, immune to it. So it's funny when people say that. I just think it's funny.
When we were, like, looking for houses, we were like, where's the flat land? Like, where do I find a flat land? Like, I want a flat front yard, I want a flat backyard.
Right.
I'm like, it's very rare. Like, there's not a lot of it around here. We definitely haven't found it yet. I mean, 2 houses in, and neither one are flat. This one's more flat than the first one, which is good. But definitely miss the flat land.
Well, and I also think what's funny too is, like, people that grew up here or from here, whatever, like, we have a different definition of flat than like what actually flat is.
Right. I mean, like, if I was walking in New York, like, I remember we walked everywhere. Like, living in Brooklyn, like, you don't really need a car. Like, you can walk to the train station, you can walk to the bus, you can walk, like, blocks and blocks and blocks and be fine. But, like, I'm not even walking, like, anywhere here. Like, give me my car. Like, no, thank you.
Yes, I agree. Well, that's one thing that makes me sad about being here is, like, you can't really, it's not walkable. Yeah. Like, there's very few places that, from a flat standpoint, but also from, like, safety. Yeah. Anyways, have you been to Safety City or no? I was curious.
So I've been on field trips.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I taught 2nd grade on maternity leave when I first moved here, and we went to Safety City.
Okay. Yeah.
It was super fun. The kids liked it.
Yeah. Okay. Someone was mentioning that to me. So I was just curious. But anyways, anything we've missed about business, about party elevators, about Knoxville? How should people, if they want to work with you, how should they get in contact?
The best way to contact me would be to head to my website. That just got finished, so I'm super excited. I've been working on it. So it's www.thepartyelevators.com, or if you are an Instagram person, you can DM me on Instagram. I spend most of my time on Instagram. I love Instagram. So.
Yeah, she's awesome at Instagram, by the way. Yeah, reach out on your website. There's a form, so you can go in and fill out that form. There's also a link to, it's like a catalog. It's a Canva document, so you can see kind of all the options. And she does kids' tables.
Definitely want to do your kids' tables. But also, like, if you don't see something on the catalog, like, that doesn't mean, like, I don't have plans to add it or won't add it for your party. So, like, the catalog is kind of like the rough draft of, like, here what I have options, readily available. But, like, I love doing custom things for events. So I'm always up for something fun. So if you have an idea that you want for your party that you've seen on another, like, party Instagram or something, like, reach out to me and let me know. Don't just, like, look at the catalog and be like, oh, she doesn't have that, gotta go.
Yeah, that's for people like me that are like, ooh, I don't even know what to ask for.
Yes, like, if you just need, like, a visual or an idea, definitely you can, like, find that there. But also, like, Instagram is kind of like my portfolio.
Yes.
So you can get lots of ideas by scrolling through my Instagram as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of
It was
course.
fun.
See you guys later.
Bye.